Hi everyone, this is Anna Maria with Henschel Chiropractic. I want to talk about shoulders. Lots of us have a lot of shoulder stuff going on. It's an actually very complicated joint. It also has, fun fact, the most mobility range of motion of any joint in our body. But that can make it delicate, right? As I'm sure a lot of you know. Very easy to injure. Very easy to have a little bit too tight, and then it creates that chain, right, all the way into your back at that point. So I want to talk about shoulders in two different ways today. One is going to be how to stretch it, how to use some myofascial release with a ball and get in there and break up some adhesions and provide some relief, but also how to work it. So one of the reasons that shoulders do get a little bit angry and injured is when there's an imbalance of musculature. So we'll talk about that second. First, we're going to use two things. One is a little massage ball, right? This is a lacrosse ball. It's got a little drill action going on with a string. You can get these here at the clinic, or of course you can just use a lacrosse ball, a racket ball. You can even use a tennis ball. Tennis balls are going to be a little bit more giving, which can be a nice place to start, but because it's giving, it's not really going to get quite as deep, right, into that massage, into that trigger therapy. So with your ball, if you have a string, you're lucky enough to have a string on it, you're going to dangle it behind you, right? And then start to press your body. And one of the benefits of being able to do this, you can certainly do it on the floor. One of the benefits of doing this against the wall is it gives you a little bit more control over the intensity of the pressure, right? And you're gonna roll it all the way down. This big muscle here on your body, that's your deltoid, right? Your posterior deltoid on the back side can often get a little bit cranky, so you can go right along the inside edge and then start to work down and back over the muscles that cover the scapula. That's your shoulder blade, all the way up and down, right? On the front side, right, and you certainly can do it over here, although I don't generally find too many people that are complaining about pain right on that deltoid. But then once you get onto the inside towards that bicep tendon, then that can talk too. So we're gonna wanna, again, just press gently and use the massage ball as a massage, right? And always consider to get a real massage from a real human being. Can't stress that enough, work that into your schedule. Okay, so you're gonna wanna do that, and that's gonna help break up adhesions within the joint and the muscles, but you're also gonna wanna stretch. And my favorite way to stretch shoulders generally is using, especially for those of us who have upper cross syndrome, that forward head position, those forward shoulders, right? Your pecs can get really overactivated. And we need to find a way to gently open up those shoulders. So using a strap, if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt, right? You can even use a big string or a piece of twine. It really doesn't matter. Anything you can hold on to, right, that is longer than the width of your shoulders, like by a lot, that's what you're gonna wanna use, right? And you'll hold those your arms out from your shoulders and start to lift and just push your chest through. Find a gentle stretch and hold, right? 10, 15 seconds. And then you'll come over and really send those shoulders forward, right? Full protraction of your shoulder blades. And down, and then again, work it all the way up. So now my shoulder blades are retracted. That means they're together on my back, and then back around, protracting them, pulling them apart, almost like I'm bringing my shoulder blades on the side of my body, right? We'll do this a few times, and then maybe start to slide your hands a little bit wider, and eventually get to the point where you can bring that strap behind you and tap. Now, I'm gonna face forward so you can see my hands are pretty far apart, right? I actually have my own shoulder stuff going on. So you don't need a whole lot of flexibility in order to be able to do this. You can have them all the way apart, right? If that's where you're working, great. Okay, eventually over time, it'll get a little bit more narrow, and you'll be able to find a bigger range of motion with your arms. So the final thing, now let's get back to that strengthening of the shoulders. And that's where these little surgical tubings come in handy. You can get resistance bands. You don't want this terribly tense though, right? This is not a very, these are gonna be little muscles that we're getting into here. So they don't need a whole lot of weight. I've got a loop in one side, got a doorknob. I'm just gonna wrap it around the doorknob on the opposite side and close the door. There we go. Now I wanna work both sides evenly. So again, something that contributes often to shoulder injuries is gonna be that imbalance of musculature. So front side, very often overworked. Back side, we gotta work on it. So keep your feet about shoulder width distance apart. Keep your elbow tight into your ribs. Palm faces up, grab that surgical tubing and start to externally rotate. Right? Not a huge movement. Right? Don't let that elbow go wild. We're gonna keep it nice, tight into your ribs. And you can work if you need a little bit more tension, you step in towards the door, right? Now you don't have quite as much space, now that's a lot harder. Right? Flipping it around, you do want to work the inside as well, your internal rotators. And now I'm going to stand with my hand a little bit to the outside of my right elbow, and I'm going to pull it across my body like this. Right? Everything else nice and stationary, nice and still. Start with a couple of sets of 10 to 15 and work your way up from there. Hope this helps. Happy shoulders, everyone. We'll see you soon at the clinic.